Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 13 through 15 of RuYi's Royal Love. May is getting closer and closer to her delivery date, and with every passing month, she gets more and more arrogant. She isn't actually feeling very healthy though. Since Chun is one of the few consorts in the palace who has had a son, May follows her advice.
全凭说吃了鱼虾有利于胎儿。
It seems to be the only thing that stimulates her appetite, and she begins eating to excess. Eventually, she gets mouth blisters that none of the doctors can seem to get rid of. They insist it's just a normal part of pregnancy and promise that after she delivers, she'll be fine. One night, as RuYi and her procession are walking about, they see a maid in the water. RuYi has her servant jump in and save her, and she turns out to be LianXin, the empress's newly married maid. RuYi brings her back to the palace, and after some pushing, she finally admits that she was trying to commit suicide. She reveals bruises and burns on her skin. Eunuch Wang is quite a piece of work. When they're alone together, he burns her, bites her, pricks her with needles. He can't get any sexual pleasure from her, but he clearly enjoys causing pain. Maybe he should have married Aro, they clearly have a lot in common. They never show anything explicit, but LianXin has been trying so hard to avoid going home by working late, and when she is forced to return home, you can just see how difficult it is for her. Also, watching her try so hard to tell the Empress that she needs help has been heartbreaking. The Empress is so worried about herself that she absolutely refused to acknowledge any of LianXin's obvious cries for help. In addition, the Empress is taking care of LianXin's family, kind of, but not explicitly threatening to stop taking care of them if she doesn't get what she wants. I can see why LianXin thought this was her only way out. Though again, with these threats, it's hard to say how much the Empress knows and how much she just pretends not to know. The Empress did tell Su Lian to get LianXin's siblings taken care of. She didn't explicitly tell her to use them to threaten LianXin, but she did, and here we are. I'm really glad Aro is not here to see this. I can just imagine her nasty quips. Eunuch Wang, more like eunuch wrong, am I right? Okay, that was pretty bad, but you get the idea. RuYi decides she has to do something to help her. She asks LianXin to persevere for a while longer while she figures something out. May goes into labor early. Everyone rushes over to her palace, and the emperor is nervous as hell. This will be the first child since he became the emperor, and so there are a lot of superstitions surrounding it. It could foretell what his future as the emperor will look like. Finally, they hear the baby cry, and the doctor comes out to tell him the news. May gave birth to a prince, but he died almost immediately after being delivered. The emperor asks that the body is brought to him, and it must be quite a sight considering the reaction. Clearly, something went horribly wrong. The Empress springs into action and tells them to bury the body immediately. She warns everyone that they should keep their mouths shut. If this gets out, it would be a stain on the Emperor's reputation. Eunuch Wang is tasked with getting rid of the body, but on his way out, he is seen by Hui, who gets a good look at the baby. And again, what does it look like? May is inconsolable. After delivering the baby and even hearing it cry, it was suddenly taken away, and now they won't let her see it. They offer no explanation and simply tell her that it died. Can I just point out what a punk move it was for the Empress to make RuYi tell her, "Ma'am, this is your job. You can't be constantly afraid of RuYi taking your position and then also make her do all your dirty work." May is understandably losing it. No time to pay her any attention though. At the next family meeting, the Empress reveals that there is another pregnancy in the harem. Noble Lady Yi, who has been a background character this whole time, is 2 months pregnant. Yi used to be the Empress's maid until the Emperor favored her, and now she's pregnant. On their way out, Hui and RuYi chat about their lack of babies. Hui mentions that May's baby was somehow abnormal, which RuYi shuts down immediately. This was supposed to be a secret so it wouldn't reflect poorly on the Emperor, and Hui is just casually blabbing about it. RuYi tries to warn her to keep it to herself, and it's times like this when Hui's lack of common sense really rears its ugly head. Also, not to get too off track, but I just love how much attention they pay to the background characters in this drama. Suoshin was sent away on the night of the delivery and didn't see the baby. I'm guessing RuYi also didn't tell her. As Hui starts to bring it up, you can just see her like, oh, what happened? And then she remembers, oh, right, I'm at work. May's mental health finally gets so bad that she attempts suicide. For some reason, ignoring her for months and allowing her to stew without telling her the truth didn't work. Also, poor LianXin having to comfort someone else when she just barely survived her own suicide attempt not long ago. Hui, as usual, opens her mouth and makes things worse. Rather than just giving Mei the closure she needs, the Emperor instead focuses on the fact that Hui knew about the baby despite not being at the delivery. Anything to avoid talking to Mei, huh? Hui says she heard rumors, not admitting the truth about bumping into Eunuch Wang outside of the delivery room. So Mei is like, please tell me the truth, I didn't even get to see my baby's face. And he's like, don't worry girl, we're gonna find out who's spreading these crazy rumors. He then sends her off to the temple to pray. A+ problem solving. On their way out, the Emperor continues to ponder how Hui found out about the baby. The only ones there that day were him, the Empress, RuYi, and Eunuch Wang. Any servants that served that night were dismissed. It seems rather silly to wonder though, all it would take was one servant sweeping outside who just happened to overhear something. Not to mention, the doctors? Is it really a surprise that this didn't remain a secret? He starts having servants from the different palaces rounded up and questioned so he can find the leak. Since both Hui and Eunuch Wang work for the Empress, it wouldn't make sense for Hui to tell the truth about where she got the information. But she hatches a plan to use this to her benefit. The Empress Dowager comes to see Mei at the temple. As we know, Mei is her little spy. The Empress Dowager makes Mei understand that she can still have other children in a life going forward, but if she continues being this sad, all she's doing is digging her own grave. Mei admits she wasn't really trying to commit suicide, she just wanted the Emperor to come and see her. So she's sad, but not that sad, and ready to go back to work. RuYi gets called in to see the Emperor and the Empress, which of course means something is up. Eunuch Wang has reported that the rumors about the baby all started at RuYi's palace.
奴才把那些传播流言的人都带来。
Wait, why would you have one of your possible suspects in charge of the investigation? Eunuch Wang was there. He moved the body. You didn't even consider that it could have been him? A bunch of servants are brought in who claim that they heard someone from RuYi's palace talking about Mei's deformed baby. Eunuch Wang is obviously in cahoots with Hui, as it's really both of their faults. It looks like the Emperor still has a lot of faith in RuYi's character though.
朕也觉得不是贤妃所为。
He wants to investigate, and in the meantime, RuYi requests that she be grounded so no one can say she had a hand in covering anything up. He agrees, and she gets locked up in her palace. So I do feel sorry for Mei in the sort of vague, not wanting others to suffer way. No one deserves a miscarriage, but I also wasn't shedding any tears for her. Don't get me wrong, I love how she stands up to Hui, and her clapbacks are hilarious. But lest we forget, she was more than willing to frame RuYi for hurting her just a few episodes ago. She was also happy to rub her pregnancy in RuYi's face, making fun of the fact that RuYi only has an adopted son. She's not mean to the bad guys because she's good, she's just mean. And if she really had delivered a son, with her attitude, she would no doubt have become a monster. I don't think even the Empress Dowager would have been able to keep her in check. That said, the mental health care in the palace is tragic. My dude, did you really think locking her up would be the way to go? That like, after a few months, she'd pop out totally healed and ready to bang again? And the most irritating thing is, that pretty much is what happened. Mei has no choice but to go back to normal now, and the Emperor is no doubt patting himself on the back for his amazing problem-solving skills. Ugh. Till next time, thanks for watching.